What is one thing you think could go to the wayside as traditions change or?
Well, luckily, a lot of traditions have shifted, but I still have questions during our planning meetings that I still ask. Let's just throw it out, garter toss. Mm-hmm. Let's never do it again.
Yeah.
Like it's awkward, it's weird.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to VOW Omaha. We're here with Jesse from Chaos Production. He is our first guest, so welcome, Jesse.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course. Just to tell you a little bit about Jesse, he is the owner of Chaos Production. He is a husband and a father of 4. His company specializes in weddings and bringing the vibe and jam to your corporate events and all things weddings as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Jesse to tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so the company is Chaos Productions. I feel like Omaha's gotten to kind of know our name and our brand. It's nice being recognized by vendors and clients and stuff. We've got, I feel, what is a fairly niche style, which I really like. I think over the years of business, I've tried to carve that sharper and sharper so we can have the clients that we really want to work with. And I think our niche really is the balance of finesse of high-end weddings and all the attention to detail that comes along with that, and then the crazy hype club-style party at the end. So the combination of that and the finesse to kind of make both happen really is what we specialize in.
When you say high-end weddings, is there like a certain point, like something you could say to reference that?
Right, yeah, I guess that's probably very subjective. In my opinion, what I see is high-end weddings or kind of luxury style weddings where their priorities are really focused on giving their guests that 5-star experience, nice dinners, very nice decor, good quality vendors, putting together a really good A-team to just make sure that they have everything kind of top-notch, if you will. It doesn't mean every single category has to be 5-star, doesn't mean they have to spend $100,000, just somebody that really prioritizes quality.
Tell us a little bit, what's most important to you about your company and how'd you come up with the name?
Coming up with a name, I will say, so I did start my company when I was 19 years old. And the name, I've been questioned over the years, Chaos. That's kind of a weird name for a wedding company. But from a vendor standpoint, I think you guys can kind of relate. It's kind of controlled chaos and kind of that. So it's kind of worked over the years. So I started my brand in 2002. I was 19 years old. And I actually I've got a musical background. I was a drummer from 8 years old, played drums all the way through. And then all my bandmates from my bands moved away and went to college. So I said, I need to keep playing music and performing. So at 19, I got some DJ equipment. I started playing in the bars. I started a recording studio in my house to where I would have bands come over and hip hop artists come over. So basically anything I could do to keep music in my life. At that point, it had nothing to do with money or a career. I didn't plan on ever doing it for a paycheck. And the way the ball fell, got lucky, and here I am in my mid-40s still doing it. So that's how it is.
So when you came up with the name Chaos, you probably weren't thinking this is going to be a wedding company named DJ Chaos Productions.
Absolutely. It was not anywhere in my head that I was going to form a brand. Weddings was nowhere on my timeline. But rebranding is a very difficult thing. And by the time I kind of navigated through my career, I got to the point where I just kind of embraced it, and it started being recognized, and I just said, we're going with it. And now if anybody has a problem with the name, I guess that's their problem, not mine. It's still working, so.
And it does give you good brand recognition,
Absolutely.
like you said. There's not a lot of other companies for weddings out there that have a really distinctive name like that.
Right, and I do remember before I created Chaos Productions, or after, when I started creating a DJ company, I remember I had a business card that was Midwest Digital DJ. It was right when computers started to be used for music and stuff. And thank goodness those business cards disappeared, and thank goodness that, because, I think you could Google that exact name and probably find 500 DJ companies across the country. Like, it's just very generic. So I do like something that is just raw, real, and not like anybody else.
It's you.
Yeah. Do you have to do any like research into that? Like, as far as your name currently, are you like keeping an eye out for DJ Chaos's popping up? Like, how does that work? Because I've caught this a lot when I look up a DJ's name. You know, somebody says, "This is my DJ," and you type it in, and it's hard to find the DJ because there's a lot of people by the name.
Yeah, I have. I've Googled multiple times. There's plenty of companies out there called Chaos Productions. Most of them are like audio video companies, or they're doing like video production. I haven't really noticed any DJ companies that are named the same. There are a handful of people I've found around the country that use DJ Chaos as their name, but nobody close in our market, nobody who's doing what I do.
You know, all things happen for a reason. That name was meant to be yours. You were meant to be in weddings. And that brings us to teamwork, because as you know, weddings are a little bit chaotic. I've never seen one that goes like perfectly.
I don't know what you're talking about. My wedding days are a tight ship, as I am.
Well, we need to talk what your secret sauce is. But with that being said, it takes a team to kind of rein in that chaos, and DJs are a big part of that. How do you feel about your role in the wedding day production?
Yeah, so it kind of goes back to like the type and the quality of weddings that I really like being a part of. And when you're at that level where expectations are so high and perfection is something that these clients want, you don't have a choice. If you're not there to work as a team, it's not going to go smooth. So I am big into networking, big into, as soon as I get to an event, I want to chat with all the vendors, at least introduce myself if they don't introduce themselves, and just get that day started off right. Being in this market as long as I have, I've built some great friends that, you know, you walk into the venue, if they're the photographer, if they're the videographer or the planner, it's a pleasant surprise to see that face, because you just know, okay, today is going to go smooth because I'm working with this person.
I love it when that happens.
It's such a breath of fresh air. Like, you know, working with Raina or working with another planner, they kind of have their list of reliable vendors that they've worked with over the years. And Omaha's not, you know, some people feel it's a very big city, but it's actually a very small knit town, and there's not a ton of vendors around Omaha.
It is interesting how like there can be, you know, an unknown number of vendors, but then you run into the same people all the time, and you're like, how is this possible that I am like, statistically I should be working with a different set of people like every single time.
And I think that shows for the quality and kind of the niches that we work with, because I think a certain style of DJ can work with a certain style of photographer very well, or, you know, you can mix and match that as you want. But I think that's why we do run into the same vendors so often, is because our styles match very well, and then we run in the same circles.
Absolutely. And you're hiring wedding professionals. I'll tell you right now, as a planner, Jesse's on my preferred vendor list, so is Claire and James, because they're exceptional at what they do. And so those are the people you want to hire. And I don't want to say be in your circle, but they definitely want to be there on your wedding day.
And that's why, you know, Jesse's part of our VOW vendor preferred list that we have too, because we wanted to bring like cool people like yourself who actually know what you're doing to have a voice, so that we can help learn. Like, I feel like I'm going to learn a lot today, but also so that everybody else can learn a lot too. Like, I show up and I see a DJ and I'm just like, are we good? Like, are we on the same timeline? Yeah. Great.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what you guys deal with when you're working with other, I hear stories, of course, all the time. As DJs, as photographers, like, we don't get to see people, our competition. We don't see them work. So we know our style. We know what we're told, if we're doing good or bad, but we don't know what others are doing. So we really don't have much to compare to. So I'm sure you guys see all kinds of stuff from maybe other DJ companies. I try to just stay focused on myself. I try not to focus on my competition, what they're doing bad. Of course, if they're doing things better than me, I want to take notes and I want to see how I can better myself. I don't focus on my competition, and I want everybody to succeed. And then when it comes to, like you said, being on the preferred vendor lists and stuff like that, I take a lot of pride in us not doing any paid marketing or advertising. Of course, the brand recognition, but also I feel like every single wedding we're at is our best marketing opportunity. So I take a lot of pride in the authenticity and the fact that we're not paying to play, if you will.
Yeah, that was a big deal for us when we were putting this together, was like letting vendors be part of this for free. Like, we don't want to charge people to be part of this experience, because I know, at least for me personally, I don't know about you, like that has been a barrier for me in the past, where everything in this industry is so expensive already, and there's a lot of rationalizing of like, well, if you spend this money, all you need to do is book one wedding and you'll cover it and it'll be fine. But those things add up, and I feel like a lot of doors then are very hard to financially open for vendors, even if they've been in the industry. I mean, we have a lot more vendors we're planning on adding that we trust, but we don't want to make it like a pay-to-play type of thing, like you said.
That's what it's all about. I mean, we're here for our couples and making sure that they have the vendors that meet their personality, style, and budget. I mean, I think we all probably tell, even if it's not me, I want it to be me, but even if it's not me, make sure you vibe with them. It's one of your most important days of your life.
That is super important, because it is weird to be at a wedding where you don't feel like you're like part of the scheme of the wedding day.
Yeah, we've all been there too. Like,
where you
we've
get
all
hired
been
for
at a wedding
ones
that
and-
we're like, why did they pick me?
Right. I'm such a quirky photographer, and I've slowly like worked my way out of the rustic weddings. But every once in a while, I'll still get picked up for one, and I'll be there, and I'll be standing around all the people in cowboy hats thinking, whoa, this is a new perspective.
Yes.
But, we still get the job done in those situations too,
Absolutely.
and like be super professional and try to make, beautiful things happen. And that's what's really cool about being a professional too, is like you can plop down at any situation in this industry and be like, okay, this is what we need to do to make it happen and make it great.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So can you tell us, as if we didn't know each other and worked with each other before, what would you tell a vendor as a DJ? What would make your life easier on the wedding day?
Oh, that's a great question. So I've got 6 DJs currently that work under my company. I do all the logistics, all the emails, all the planning, everything like that. The money that I make on the ownership side of things, of me not DJing, I feel is the behind the scenes logistics stuff that I'm doing. And as I'm doing that, I feel like I'm taking everything I know about all their vendors, and I'm doing everything I can to make your guys' jobs easier. We're the messengers for everything. We're trying to keep everybody informed and entertained through cocktail hour and dinner and everything like that. So I think the more information we have as far as what you guys need, a photographer's sunset photos. That's, we're in the Midwest. When it comes to spring, summer, fall, that sunset time's totally different. I'm a DJ. I don't know what time the sun goes down. I don't know what golden hour really means. I just rely on you guys to lean over and say, hey, in 45 minutes, are you okay if I yank them out? And I love the language too of, are we okay as a team if this happens?
Yeah.
Because I can rebuttal and say, well, okay, I've got speeches coming up, but yes, I'm going to work with you. Let's figure out how we can move this timeline around to where it doesn't seem awkward or anything.
Right.
So I've had photographers come and be like, hey, I'm doing this. This is happening. They're so black and white, and it's fine. I can work with it, but it's way easier if they could just come and be like, okay, this is what we need. We do have sunset coming up, and we work together as a team.
How far before a wedding do you usually sort of start really locking in with your couples on what the day is going to look like? Because I've talked with, James and Raina and a lot of other people about this before, of like, whose job is it to put the timeline together, or at least the bones of it, and who should be sharing that? Like, I know for me, if there's not a planner, especially when I put together a timeline, I'll make sure to reach out to especially the DJ and be like, hey, I'm Claire, I'm the photographer. and I just met with the couple, and I just wanted to send you what we put together. I don't know if you've already met with them, but like we can compare notes. I don't know, like, do you tend to run into issues with like different timelines coming together at different times, or how does your process look like on that end?
Yeah, so I've developed my process that works with my schedule, and then what I feel works really good with what's happening in the client's mind during the planning process. So I usually meet with them 2 to 3 weeks before the wedding. And I always tell them when they book, like, here's the process, here's my standard of what I do. It doesn't mean we can't meet a month ahead of time or whatever, but here's what to expect from me. And then I tell them, now the reason for that is because I want to be hopefully the last vendor you meet with. I want you to meet with your photographer, your caterer, your venue, and all that, because I'm going to ask you timestamps about all those people, and I want you to the best of your ability, have those timestamps for me. So basically what I'm trying to do is adapt to all your timelines in my planning meeting. Now, if you reach out and you send me your timeline, and I have met with them, and something's 15 minutes off, I'll be like, here's what I have. Mm-hmm. Let's just work together and see what's going to be the best solution. You know, if you have it at that time for a specific reason, yeah, I'll adjust what I need to adjust. So that's typically my goal, is to be the last vendor for that exact reason.
And I don't know about anybody else, but I try to like keep my fingers out of what's happening with the reception a lot. So like I'll ask my couples, like, what are the things you're planning on doing? Just so I have a list of the things, like, oh, they're going to do speeches and games or whatever. But I don't ask them for times, because I know that the DJ is going to be running that, and it's not really my business what time any of those things are going to happen, as long as like there's an agreement that it is happening and I am there to get it. Like,
and that's usually what I see is the photographer's timeline goes until first dance. And then after that, the photographer typically says, now I'm turning it over to the DJ, they're gonna run it. I'm seeing a big trend with photographers asking the couples or suggesting to the couples cut the cake right away after grand entrance, which is a question I ask in my questionnaire. It does probably make it easy for you guys to like just knock it out and everything's clean and nothing's been moved and no little kid has messed with the cake or anything like that.
We're following the caterers, actually, with that, I think. A lot of times I feel like they've said, hey, we're going to go and do the cake first. That way it's ready for the caterers to cut the sheet,
that makes a lot of sense, too.
And yeah, that's what I've been kind of hearing about that situation, is it streamlines, it allows them to have the cake ready to go. It's all plated up in the back.
I'm always surprised the sheet cakes are not cut earlier. If only, like, I understand not wanting to like cut them at the beginning of the day and then have it open to the air for so long, but like the fact that they're always like, it has to be immediately after the official cake cutting is always like, you could have cut it like 30 minutes ago. It's gonna stay out the whole rest of the night. Like,
and they're typically back in the kitchen anyway. Like, very rarely are the sheet cakes on display.
Yeah.
So
No. It's working with caterers. Their kitchens are very, very small. And so when they cut the cakes and they have to serve them, it takes up a lot of space.
Wow.
So, and to James' point, it's a freshness factor, because if you ever had a cake sitting out on the kitchen table after a half hour, it's not so fresh anymore. So
I'll eat it. I mean,
I probably still eat it too, but you know.
just so everybody knows what type of people we are, we will eat the cake.
I'm a DJ. I'll eat pulled pork 4 hours after you take it off the buffet. I'll do what I got to do to get substance.
It's our survival during the day. We eat when we can. And that there are trends going on right now in the wedding industry. What else are you seeing?
One of the biggest changes that I've seen here in the last, I guess, this year of booking is, so I'm going to say the word we don't want to hear, post-COVID. Right after COVID, everybody was booking like 2 years out. Like the farthest out I'd seen people book for weddings, in 2022. I'm getting inquiries for 2025, and I'm like, what's happening? It's job security, but so much can happen in that amount of time. Military deployments and families can change, all kinds of stuff. So as a vendor, it does make you a little nervous sometimes to book out that far. But now I'm seeing people book 3, 5, 6 months out from their wedding. Agreed. And then it's making me, that's on the flip side, like, oh my gosh, that's like very soon. So now it's almost why'd that happen? Why are they only booking
that's a good
this
question.
wedding 4 months out? Me personally, I think 12 months is like a perfect amount of time to really start diving into your vendors. But that's the biggest trend I've seen recently is people booking at least their DJ service way closer to their wedding than they have in the years prior.
I'm seeing that. Yeah. For photo, video at least. It's kind of crazy all over the place.
Yeah, and there's a lot of vendors that we'll talk to or they'll post on social media about what your guys' calendar's looking like. I'm a lot slower than usual. Well, the way trends are going, just wait. Your calendar will fill up. They're just doing it a little bit later. Yeah.
I'm still booking for this year. I had a meeting today with a couple having their wedding later this year. And I was like, all right.
That is my hope. I'm hoping to get some more back half of the year because it is like you start to like have that little bit of panic where you're like, shit, am I going to have like bookings or am I not? And what do I do? Do I start like taking other types of opportunities that I otherwise would not take as readily to like do more second shooting or do more non-wedding events or something? But then as soon as you do that, it's sort of like washing your car and then it rains. It's like you start like being like, I guess I'll fill up my dates with whatever. And then you get inquiries and you have to turn them down. And you're like, well, where were you 4 weeks ago?
That's how I became a multi-op, honestly. Like I was always solo and I just kept getting these inquiries and I hated turning them down. And it wasn't so much about money. It was about, I want you to have a great experience and I know I can provide that. Mm-hmm. But since I'm already booked, I can't. So now I just have to send it off to somebody else. So by becoming a multi-op, I feel like I had more control to make sure people were going to have a great experience.
To all of our couples out there, to Jesse's point, 12 to 18 months. You get the best wedding professionals. You have time to plan your wedding of your dreams. You can even go on vacation or take a break. You really want to take that break, I promise you. But you do. You really want to give yourself time. And also, you're not rushing to find your vendors, and you're having actual time to make sure you vibe with your vendors, and you're actually able to budget accordingly. It makes life much easier.
Yeah, the budgeting's a big deal because, like, if you wait to book all of your vendors 6 months out from your wedding, then you have to pay all of your vendors within 6 months.
Absolutely.
Versus, like, pay one deposit 18 months before the wedding, pay another deposit 15 months before the wedding, and like break things up into smaller increments. It makes it way less stressful as a couple.
And I just got married 2 years ago. I've been in the wedding industry for 20 years, and I had no idea what other vendors cost. I didn't know what to expect my venue to cost, what I should expect my photographer to cost, because I don't talk money with people. So even being in the wedding industry 20 years, I didn't know what to budget for my own wedding. So yes, being a first-time customer in an industry that hopefully you're only ever a one-time customer, do your research and figure out, yes, what your budget is and who you can afford and who you would like. Right. Be able to interview multiple people and get that vibe, give your time to do all that.
Is that something you talk about when asked, though, like in terms of like if someone approaches you and says like, hey, you're a DJ and starts to ask you about like average investment or price point for your services, like, is that something that you talk about or is it just by inquiry? Like, I know we talked about reference points for people to know certain types of weddings and styles and budget that you see for the level of event that you have.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm one of the high-priced vendors in my category here. I've always tried to be a leader in everything, technology, everything, and then I feel like my price point reflects that. I know there's 2 or 3 guys here that are right up there who are phenomenal, I refer them all the time because I feel like we're very much in the same category. So our price point versus what you might find elsewhere is going to vary immensely. You could find a DJ for $450 probably. Our price point is between $2,000 and $3,000. So that's like such a vast difference. So I don't blame, a couple coming in and being like, well, they can probably do the same thing. Why wouldn't I spend $450 versus? So you get a little bit into that education. Basically where we're at, that's why we kind of talked about the organic referrals and everything like that. I think by the time our clients get to us, that trust is already built. Raina's already chatted with them. James has chatted about their experience with our company. Price point rarely comes up with us, honestly. And our price point is open in the air on our website. Our competition can see it. It's a flat rate. What you see, what you get, no hidden charges. So if we fit into their budget and their style, then they book.
Having your pricing like visible, I think is important in that, or at least a starting point for like people in our industry, because then that like weeds out, any type of situation where you get people in a meeting and they immediately get sticker shock. Like, because I've had meetings where couples have just like immediately shut me down in the middle of what I'm saying after I've told them prices, because they're like, hey, you're really nice, but this isn't going to work out. And it's like that whole awkward situation for all of us could have like been avoided.
I mean, it can be controversial. This is my opinion. But I feel like when you don't share your pricing publicly and you're like, well, I need to get them on the phone and show them my value. Yes, there's probably 100 things they don't know about you before conversating with you. But they should know enough about your value to where your price point isn't going to scare them away.
Yeah.
I think if I go on a website and the pricing's not on there, I already feel like something shady is going to happen when I talk to them. Like, what are they hiding?
Right. They're already hiding something.
Now, there's vendors that don't show their pricing that I'm sure have plenty of good arguments of why they don't. That's just how I feel I can be shopping for a T-shirt, and if the pricing's not there, I'm like, why? You know what I mean?
Tariffs.
I'm going to click on this, and it's going to cost 3 times the price that I want to pay. So I just got tired of having those conversations when my pricing wasn't shown. Exactly as you said, those awkward conversations. And I'm just like, I'm going to put my price point up. It's going to drop my inquiries probably by 50%. But those 50% inquiries, I wasted their time and they wasted my time.
Right.
And there's an audience for everyone. I mean, there's a DJ for everyone, to your point. We're all at different price points in the industry. But I will tell you, you want to invest in your photographer and your DJ. It's 2 points in your wedding that if you don't have me, they're going to run your wedding day. They're going to make sure it runs seamlessly. They're going to keep the team together and make sure you have everything you need. So it's worth the investment.
But please have a Raina. Like, please don't take that as permission to not have a Raina.
For us.
Yeah. Well, if you have me, then you have your automatic communication bridge. More importantly, they're actually able to focus on what you hired them to do. And that's to play music and get people on the dance floor and get those beautiful photos and video.
But I will say, as a vendor, not all planners are created equally. I've worked with plenty of planners that they create chaos, so they feel like they have something to do. And when that happens, it makes our job so much more difficult, because it's almost like they're upsetting the clients to say, I'll fix this.
Yeah.
Like, I've been in that situation, and it's very awkward, and I make sure I never want to work. Like, sometimes I don't know the clients have hired them before they book with us, but when I know we're working an event with a certain person, I'm just like, oh, it's going to be a nightmare, because they literally make the day worse than it would be if they weren't there.
I hate to say it, but I've heard the stories, and there are planners out there who do that. They have, I hate to say it, a godlike complex that they need to run the entire day, when in actuality, the couple hired you because you're the experts in their field. And I mean, I don't know. I know enough about a little about a lot, and I don't want to know how to DJ. or a videographer or take pictures. I'm not good at it. I can barely take one on my iPhone. So that's why we have you there for. And we're just making sure that everything is in alignment. We are supposed to be the communication bridge. So when you do speak to a planner and you've already started booking your vendors, ask. Because as we said earlier, this is a small community. We all know each other. If your reputation precedes you in anything, and we're always happy to share our knowledge with you.
I mean, I am a classic like oversharer, overtalker, as we all know and as you will come to know. So like on a wedding day, I often talk my thought processes out loud for the couple, for the other vendors. So I do understand if a planner is like wanting to reiterate what the plan is. But like you said, if they're sort of like creating tension and the couple was sort of just like vibing and having a really nice time, and now that planner is coming in and saying, you have 4 more minutes to finish this, and then you have to be back inside because we don't want to be late on cutting the cake. And the couple's like, I didn't even know what time it was, and I was having a nice time, and now I feel stressed about this day running on time. And it can become about like that planner feeling like they pulled off the technically perfect event where everything ran exactly according to time and plan, but that shouldn't be the goal. The goal should be to pull off a event that flows well, where there's no mishaps, but you're still allowing for it to have a natural pacing according to the couple.
It's about the experience and the memories, and you want people to walk away feeling good about their day. And I don't know if you guys do this with any of your clients. I said, we start the ceremony on time, unless you say something and then, it's your day, your way, that's fine. But everything else after we get married, you down the aisle is icing on the cake. We're fluid if you need to change, because to your point, you're like, I'm having a good time. I don't want to do that anymore. Okay. Yeah. And then we just all talk and we switch gears and keep on going.
Take something off our to-do list.
And I love the consultations and the meetings I have with clients, and one thing that comes up quite a bit is, what I feel the technical side of our job, and I know it's the same across the board with all wedding vendors, is taking the difficult part of the day, which to me as a wedding DJ is everything from beginning a ceremony through the spotlight dances. That's all the making sure everything runs smooth, making sure everybody is where they need to be, making sure food's ready, making sure, James has his lighting set up, so, I need to delay for 2 minutes, whatever it is. That's when I'm stressed and my anxiety and I'm running around. Once the music starts, I roll my sleeves up like, that's why I do this. That's what I love. That's the fun part. But I explain to the clients that my job is to take that stressful part of the day, and it's my stress, not theirs.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I make it look easy as a professional. You make your job look easy. Raina makes her job look easy. We all make it look easy, and that's the professional in us. Mm-hmm. And that's what a client should be looking for.
Yeah.
So my point with like the difficult planners I've worked with, they intentionally show the heartache so they can be superheroes.
Right.
And like, we can't, when something doesn't go right, it's our problem. We tackle that, and that's what we're getting paid for.
Our job is to hide all that from y'all.
Yeah, they shouldn't have to worry about a thing. They shouldn't have to know anything's out of place or anybody's not where they need to be.
I wanted to talk a little bit about DJ setups, because from what I've seen, there's been some changes. It seems like things are getting like simpler and cleaner as far as like everybody's setup. I love to see it.
Speaking my language, simple and clean is what I love to hear.
Not chaos. I mean,
what? That's off brand.
I kind of brought up, I started DJing in like 02, 03. It's beginning to be the end of that era of style of DJ, where it was, when you walked into a wedding, it's stacks of speakers, it's giant racks of lights and everything spinning and dots, and just, I think it was kind of the live performance almost shifting from bands to now DJs can do what bands do. And then from that time I started in the industry, it's just been a constant lean to minimize everything, simplify everything, but increase the technology and everything at the same time. So making everything better, but smaller, compact, cleaner. So yes, DJ furniture these days is very, very popular. And by DJ furniture, I mean, it looks like it's part of your venue, or it looks like a decorative piece of furniture rather than a table with a bunch of DJ equipment stacked on top of it. So DJ furniture has really come a long ways. And then the speakers we're using now, we've gotten rid of tripods, trip hazards. Everything really is straight columns and towers that, again, are going to look very nice in your venues. It's not going to take away from you. It's not going to be an eyesore. And then we get to my favorite is white equipment. I love white. Weddings are luxury and bougie and fancy, and nothing says fancy more than white.
I wish we could do it. We don't have the options to do that. You really can't go out there on B&H and like buy like white tripods. Like if anybody could see, there's just a bunch of black stuff like setting up our gear over here. Even this stuff, like I don't think I could order it in white.
We've got the fancy, nice color coordinated cords.
Yeah, we got colored cords.
And like I have you can, as photo video people, you can get like harnesses and stuff to wear.
I will say,
and they're only so
nice
looking. They're getting better, but like last year I bought this like belt. It's called the Spider holster. Not sponsored. Wish we were. But
I see what you did there.
But like, it's like they just this year released a new version of it that's made out of like leather-like material that looks so much sleeker. But I just dropped all that money on the non-leather version last year, so I'm not going to replace it
that's
yet.
That's how it works.
But I want to get sleeker so that I don't look like quite as much of a nerd out there with all my stuff. I can let my personality be the nerd rather than my...
I'll say with you guys, I see everything when it comes to photographers and videographers. There's the artists that they will dress however they want because they feel like it's them expressing themselves. And sometimes I'm like, you're at a wedding. What are you doing wearing, ripped up fishnet pantyhose, or like just some weird stuff sometimes. Honestly, from an outsider standpoint, I think your harnesses, I think they're cool. Like, I want something to like clip my DJ stuff onto.
You should get a clip for your mic. Yeah,
there you go, like a holster.
Yeah, that would be great.
No reason you couldn't do it. Come on.
That's hilarious.
You need a fanny pack. I mean, that's what I walk around with all day.
Oh, yeah. I thought about pulling the fanny pack for some weddings, or getting one of those like vests with pockets on it.
Yeah.
So I look
like a fly fishing vest.
Or a photojournalist like actually has those pockets, and they're like, every battery's in here.
God, whenever I see like footage of myself from a wedding day, though, like Paige, James's wife, does content, and she came and got some content for me, and I was like, God, I should have offloaded some stuff off of myself for the purpose of the content, though, because like I'm short little me, big hat on, and then I have my belt with the 2 cameras, a harness, and then I have a bag behind me. So it's like all these straps crisscrossing every which way, and I just look like a ridiculous loaded up person.
Hey, you're
prepared. I don't look sleek at all. Like that word would never come into somebody's mind looking at me on a wedding day to be like, she's sleek. She's blending in.
But you're a wedding photographer professional, and that's what you're supposed to look like.
Yeah, and I think it just shows me that you have all the tools you need to do your job.
I'm a walking hazard is what I am.
I know, right? That like harness, sometimes I'm like, I have to be really careful with the 70 to 200. I have to put it behind my back.
Yeah.
Kids running at weddings is a serious hazard to our cameras. It is pretty wild.
Kids at weddings in general is just a hazard to my health.
Did you do a kidless wedding?
So we didn't specify no kids, but actually now that you got my brain ticking, I think my kids were the only kids really that were there.
Nice.
So
your guest list was specialized for like no kids.
Or none of my friends have kids. I don't know. That's weird. That's never been brought up. But now that I'm thinking, no, we did not have many kids at our wedding.
You're going to go home and start to make one of those like criminal maps of like, who has kids and how did I never notice?
And why'd they all leave them at home? But
yeah, I remember we did that with my wedding, and I remember getting a couple of calls from the people that had kids. They're like, is this for real? No kids at a wedding? And we're like, yeah, it's a date for you two. You get the night off from being a parent. And
I
you
had
get
a
to,
wedding,
you know,
2 weeks ago that they specified no kids at the wedding, and one person brought their, I'll call her 8 to 10 years old girl.
that's not so bad. If she's well behaved.
The bride was not happy.
Oh.
And she expressed it to me, and just from I'm like, the groom was right there. He's trying to console her. And I was like, well, as long as it doesn't become an issue. Like, they're in the back of the room. That girl ran circles around that venue all night, just sprinting around the room for no reason. And I'm just like, I bet that bride is just pinging like crazy right now, because there's a reason she didn't want kids at her wedding, and this is it right here.
Yeah.
And it's the only kid, and she's just doing laps.
And you're not allowed to film it as an example. You're not allowed to be like, this is why kids shouldn't be at weddings.
You really should do BTS
I would have
like
filmed
that.
it.
But to your point, I've had people where they've asked me to ask folks to leave because if they brought their kids. I mean, we had a no-kid wedding, and this child, and the parents, to their benefit, didn't realize how the tables were set up, but was walking around in circles, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Child wasn't doing anything wrong, they just being a kid, but weddings are productions now. So there's a lot of glass, there's a lot of candle, there's a lot of money. I'm telling you, spending $150 on that centerpiece, that's why people are so particular about who they invite on their guest list and whether or not they invite kids.
Kids break things.
Kids do break things.
Novel, new, groundbreaking.
Interesting
Totally new
concept.
concept.
And old school parenting is not existent as much as it was either. So
I say all the time. So we offer photo booths as well. And I will not run our photo booths. I pay people because photo booths to parents equal like bounce house.
Yeah, don't let them get anywhere near your stuff with a screen on it, because kids will that's for me is like once a kid finds out that the back of my camera has a touch screen on it, he's like, oh my gosh, does it play games? Like, what else does it do? And he's like trying to grab it out of my hands. And then parents are always freaking out. That's always the fun part, is like a parent running across the room like, no, don't touch his camera. And I'm just sitting there letting them just like handle this $5,500 piece of equipment and like flip it around.
And then looking at the parent as they get closer.
Yeah, be like, you gonna do something about this? Wanted to talk a little bit about like what a typical day looks like. There's obviously like the reception part where you're the DJ, you're mixing the music and making the people dance, but you have to give like ceremony sound, and just talk a little bit about a typical day.
Yeah, so kind of goes back a little bit. I said, the stressful part of my day is pretty much the beginning until the DJ portion starts.
Right.
And that's anywhere from probably 5 to 7 hours of that day that people aren't thinking about what a DJ actually does during the day. Plenty of weddings these days that I'm not even doing anything for the ceremony. Maybe they have musicians, or, they have a friend, or ceremony maybe off-site. Either way, I'm always going to be at that venue, set up, ready to go, clothes changed before the first guest walks in the door. Even if I have nothing to do for 2 hours, I don't believe in lugging my equipment in while their guests are there and they get to watch that. There's been times that me and an assistant have gone to lunch after we set up just for that situation, so guests don't have to see us. So my day starts fairly early, not as early as your guys is. You guys start taking pictures and videos pretty early, but considering a wedding's going till, let's call it 11 p.m., I might start at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, getting in the van and let's get ready to go. Get to the venue. Of course, we have all that equipment to get in, all the wires to run. We talked about like cleanliness of setups. So I am huge on attention to detail. I want everything in the background of photos to look amazing. I don't want any of my stuff to be an eyesore. So I'm very meticulous about cables being straight. I love when I can walk into a venue and visualize everything and set stuff up symmetrically. We have a lot of venues these days where maybe the DJ's off in the corner, and I just cringe at the thought that every DJ, for some reason, thinks they need their speakers to be by their ears. So their whole DJ setup is one compact location, when alls we need is a couple cables, and we can run those speakers somewhere else, even if our DJ booth stays right here. So like these barn venues, for example, the head table is perfectly centered in front of a beautiful door, beautiful windows. Well, why does all the sound have to be coming from that corner? Let's take 10 minutes and run a few cables, put our speakers and lights symmetrically, and now we have speakers and lights that look nice, so it's not going to be a huge eyesore, even if they are in the background of a few photos. And then when it comes to dance floor time, they're getting balanced sound, balanced lights.
Right.
The overall experience is going to be way better. So as soon as we get to the venue, that's what we do. Walk in before we take any equipment in, introduce ourselves, and then do a lay of the land. Where's the outlets? Where's the head table? How's everything set up? Get everything that way. And then, yeah, it's showtime. Let's look at the timeline. Let's go talk to the vendors.
It's a little like communication line that a lot of people don't think about that's like constantly going on during the reception. You were talking about the bouncing back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. Little things that, we talked about making things look easy. There's plenty of times where maybe a photographer had to run out to their vehicle or run to the restroom or something, and we're ready to do speeches. People don't see that, okay, now the DJ, they're filling some time gap.
Yeah.
Because nobody even realized photographer's not in the room, or they might not realize photographer even needs to take photos of speeches. But now the DJ, because of their professionalism, recognize that, and now they're giving that photographer time to get back in, get set up.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about the outcome for the couple, and if they don't have pictures that they really want, I'm not trying to set that photographer up for failure, because they had to run to the car or whatever it is.
It takes the right photographer to also knowing to ask for that time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of photographers or a lot of people I work with kind of just like let the day happen sometimes. And I'm like, why'd you do that? Like, we could have just asked the DJ very politely, like, hey, give us 2 to get some fresh batteries in that camera.
I feel like we need like hand signals. Like the wedding industry needs like a universally agreed upon hand signaling system. Even literally just yesterday, I was doing a wedding and we're all set up. It was at Lucille's. We're out in the courtyard. And the ceremony is due to start in like the next 5 or so minutes. And, as many weddings as I've done, and as much as it's the same thing every single time, I realized, oh, shit, I didn't put on my harness. I had my belt, but I didn't have my harness. And I like to do both during the ceremony because that way I can just let the cameras like drop if I need to, because that's really the most like crucial part of the day. And so I just looked at the DJ and I like tried to make my way over quickly but quietly and was like, I need to go get something. Just give me like 2 minutes. Don't start anything without me. And of course, luckily they didn't. And it's not like I made the ceremony late or anything, but we need some sort of hand signal system that is not obvious to lay people. It's not just us going like, and waving or like putting up a number or something. We need like a subtle
You look
system.
like a baseball umpire in the back, like doing all kinds of
An ear tug.
We should come up with our own like VOW vendor hand signal system, and we just like share it with all of our preferred vendors, and we're like, everybody learn this.
That's how we know who the cool vendors are. They know the symbols.
It's like I was in a sorority and we had a secret handshake. It's like that. Yeah.
But it goes to show like those little tiny things that could have made a big outcome in that day, and just communicating with that DJ. Nobody had any idea that happened.
Because my muscle memory, I guarantee you, would have kicked in, and I would have just dropped my camera. I would have been like, "Yep, let it go. Grab the other camera," and then it would have been a scene.
We spend more money protecting our equipment. I've got cases for equipment that cost twice as much as what's inside of it.
Whoa.
But you have to protect that investment that you have. There's TVs that I have for like corporate events. Mm-hmm. You can get a 55-inch TV these days for $200, maybe even less than that.
Yeah.
I have two 55-inch TVs in a $1,200 case. Like it's dumb.
It's easy to move them though, I bet, right?
It's easy.
got
They're all set
wheels.
up. We're good to go.
Yeah.
You
But
should have contacted Jesse when you were moving houses and been like, "Can I borrow a case to put my TV in,
Oh my gosh.
there,
just to move it?"
No,
To
I
make
kept the
extra
original
money,
boxes actually, because I got some TVs and I knew I was going to move out of the house, so I kept the original boxes. And now I don't know what to do with them because they won't fit in the recycling bin. City of Omaha, call me.
You just need to cut them into smaller pieces.
Oh gosh, all right. I'll try not to hurt myself. One more thing I wanted to chat about, because this has come up like during weddings for me, because our lighting setups are triggered through like the usual 2.4 whatever frequency.
we're gonna get nerdy for these people.
Yeah, this is going to get a little nerdy, but
Very important.
is this something you've experienced, or like what are your thoughts on this situation?
So, kind of when you asked earlier about DJ setups and DJ equipment, I was also going to mention how so much of what we do is wireless now. Our
Right.
lighting is wireless. Our microphones are wireless, which we love. Technology is amazing, but it's technology at the same time.
Yeah.
And we know that with technology can come some issues. 2.4 gigahertz, for anybody who doesn't know, anything wireless you own essentially runs in that bandwidth. Same thing with most of the equipment that us wedding professionals are using. The way bandwidth works is the government owns it. They own air that they can make money on. And the free air that is still there is getting very, very minimal, because while everything operates on it, is almost the only bandwidth still free. So yes, you're going to have some interference issues when you're using multiple devices in the same bandwidth. So I don't doubt for a second that a DJ and a photographer could have interfered with each other. There's ways I feel that we can overcome that. They're opening up with different wireless frequencies, different technologies. Some brands have proprietary where they've created their own wireless signal from one to the other. I think it's just process of elimination, figuring out what of yours is interfering with what of mine, and who's going to benefit. But, can I shut my lights off so your strobe can work? Or can you switch to a backup solution so I can still use my lights? Microphones is a perfect example. We've all seen TikToks and YouTube videos where they have these little itty bitty microphones clipped to their hats or their shirts. These microphones are the best thing since sliced bread. We use them for ceremonies, but videographers also use them because they can be easily hidden and you can get your audio recorded. Well, I had a situation where a videographer I was working with was using the exact same microphone as I used for ceremony. Well, his recording nobody can hear, but what goes through my microphone is live and they can hear this officiant during a ceremony. Luckily, it wasn't horrible. It dipped out for a second here and there, probably 3 or 4 times during the ceremony.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the end of the world. But I know his recording device was the only thing that could have been causing that. I could have asked him to shut it off if it got worse.
Right.
But now I carry another brand of those microphones in hopes that if I do have issues while testing, I'll just switch to the other brand.
Yeah.
Or like if he has one brand, I'll try to use the opposite brand, so less chance of us interfering.
We don't want it to happen as photographers. We don't want your microphone to cut out or anything like that. And most recently it happened, and it didn't happen until the DJ was talking on the microphone, making an important announcement, talking about like dinner coming up, and it just started going haywire out of nowhere. I was like, was it me? Was that my bad that it was doing that? Because I was taking pictures during that time. I know that my strobe was like, sending the occasional, but I couldn't really link the two of them together. And then next thing you know, you're going to be on our podcast. So I was like, I got to talk to him about it. Cause
And I will say,
it's been bouncing around a long time.
I'll talk specifically to the DJs super fast. Is my opinion, no DJ should be using a microphone. For ceremonies, we have those systems. When it comes to reception, handheld microphone systems and stuff like that, if you don't buy the cheapest microphone out there, it's going to run on a very reliable bandwidth that's still available. The government's not interfering with it in any way. And there's companies that can help you, find even, there's a company specifically that I go through that will even look at a map of Omaha for me and say, okay, here's what your TV companies are broadcasting on. And then they'll find the safest band for me as a DJ to say, this is going to be the most reliable for you.
That's cool.
Who knew?
So there's multiple ways to overcome those situations. But speeches, man, like we don't want that microphone to cut out.
No.
That's the worst feeling in the world is when somebody's talking on a microphone and it stops and it's like, oh my gosh, what how do I fix it?
Yeah,
What's going on?
right?
I had sort of a related question that might bridge the gap into like, I want to talk more about like maybe some of your wedding opinions or misconceptions that we could like debunk about DJing and weddings, and kind of like crossing that bridge, I think is the whole, I think it's a bit overblown myth of like the beef between photography and DJ lighting. And you just talked about like there can be technical interference, but also there's a lot of photographers out there who speak about DJ laser lights as if they were sent by the devil. And to me, that has never been something that I have had any issues with, because I have never felt that it has interfered with my ability to get good pictures. But I wonder if you have any like experience with photographers or videographers having complaints about certain types of lighting, or if you feel like you've heard that same myth or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's a lot of the reason why I switched up what I was using for lighting at the time. So there's a very universal entry-level DJ lighting system that includes multiple effects, and one of those is a laser. Mm-hmm. So it's what a lot of these DJs are out here using, because it's simple, it's easy to set up, but it does have the dots, the lasers, what I consider kind of cheesy effects, not super classy. Lasers, what I've always understood is, one, I've heard photographers complain about, okay, that laser can hurt the sensor of my camera, which I'm not debating.
On a technical level, it can. Of course, I try not to like point my camera directly at the laser lights.
Right.
But I think also some people just complain about the aesthetic of it too.
So what I understand is your guys' flashes can typically overpower all of our DJ lights, with the exception of lasers. No good flash is going to take red or green laser dots off of a bride's dress. And I don't think you guys don't want to Photoshop all that. And I don't think a bride wants her dancing with her dad with a bunch of laser dots all over her dress. So it's my opinion that lasers just don't belong at weddings. I think lasers are awesome effects at concerts and EDM festivals.
Yeah.
I don't think weddings is the spot for it. And that's coming from a DJ who loves club vibes, club atmosphere.
Does your company ever provide like almost like your own version of a spotlight or a constant light that photographers or videographers could take advantage of using?
So I've done that in the past. I'm the only person in my company who has those types of lights. So they're called moving heads. So they're these lights that move, and with our computer, we can point them where we need to point them or move them. So I've done in the past where I've gone to a photographer or videographer and said, hey, do you want that like halo spotlight effect? And give them the option. I would never do it without asking you guys, because if you're over there and all of a sudden I give spotlights and then all your lighting is messed up and you're not expecting it, it can create a really cool look, or it can really mess with you guys and screw up, because then you got to worry about shadows and different things like that. So typically my default is to tell the photographer, I'm not going to touch the lights and do anything until fun dancing starts. If you need anything from me, if you need some extra white light, I'm happy to provide that.
I love to know that that's even a thing, because I personally am a big advocate for constant light fill rather than flash strobes. I think they create like a just a different sort of look than flash strobes use. And it's just what I'm personally most comfortable with. I know James is really awesome at using more types of lighting.
I use off camera all the time.
Yeah, it's a skill I probably could learn from you about a little bit more. But if a DJ has a cool, beautiful spotlight, then I am down to use that usually. But that's just for my personal taste.
If that's what you like, at least ask the DJ if that's something they can provide. Like, hey, can you give me some good white light to fill? A lot of times I'll just point lights at the ceiling. So it's just, but there is a difference also for you guys to understand in DJ lighting. So you're probably very familiar with if a DJ telling you they have white light and then it comes out like a rainbow, like it's that muddy, ugly color. So that is kind of older lights that they take the colors red, green, and blue, and if you mix all those together, it creates kind of a white. Well, technology's good now, and we actually have a white that doesn't have to take those colors and mix.
Yeah.
I would say go one step further and ask the DJ if they have actual white and not mixed white, because mixed white does not look very good.
That's good to know, because I don't think I would have thought to ask that follow-up of like, is this actually white or not? And then I would have just been going, why does this look kind of weird?
Yeah, it's got, I mean, in a photo, you can kind of see the colors are mixing.
I remember asking, what kind of lights do you have? And DJ one time showed me, and he's like, I've got white, and then like put what he called white all over everything. And I was like, not that, I'm gonna use my own lights.
It can almost have like a light purple tint to it.
Yes.
Because you got the blue and green in there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it adds light, and it's white-ish, but if you're really going for that pure white, make her dress look nice, there's a big difference in the real white versus the mixed white.
I feel like now I'm going to be clocking that a lot more at weddings. I'm going to be noticing it.
This is great conversation for everyone to take note of. Why communication, teamwork is so very important.
Yeah.
I have a saying that if one fails, we all fail. So this is why we have these conversations.
Yeah, and
I've learned a lot.
I hope DJs are watching too, because I mean, there's plenty of DJs who aren't as technical, like they focus more on the music, and they're probably better mixing DJs than I am, but I'm very nerdy and technical when it comes to the technical side of things. So if any DJ out there wants to reach out to me and ask questions of, what light fixtures should I get, or what should I talk to photographers about, like, it's community. Like, we should all help each other, and we should all be experts or want to be experts in our field.
I don't think you should worry, though. I think you actually hit really good in like the center of that, of, you have great professional technology, you know what you're doing technically, but then you keep people on the dance floor. I've watched you, it's almost like you create a prison on the dance floor of dancing.
But a prison you don't want to leave.
Yeah, that you don't want to leave. There's like so many times where there's like people dancing, the song is ending, it's transitioning, you think that people are going to walk away, they take one step and they hear the first note of that next one, they're like, oh, this is my jam. They have to turn back around.
So it's kind of like a boxing match. Like, you're boxing the people on the dance floor, and when I see that, like, let's say 50-something-year-old aunt look at me, and she's like, I can't. Like, you gotta play a slow song. Like, I'm winning. Yes. Let's go.
I want people to have to go hydrate and deep breathe.
Yes, like, I'm not letting you go anywhere. You're gonna pass out on that dance floor before I give up.
This is something you have perfected, and I love it whenever I work with you because of that. It's like there's no, like, it's gonna be great. We're gonna have really cool pictures. You can do shutter drag photos because there's actually enough people and enough light.
Which I am such a nerd for. I don't know how you guys do it, but shutter drag photos are so cool to me.
You just see a lot of this.
Yeah, I'm just like...
It's the only way to capture like a party in a photo. Like, you capture the motion and the energy.
For every one cool shutter drag photo, though, there's like 8 to 10 just blurry pieces
I'm
of
sure.
trash.
I'm sure.
Yeah, we are fishing. Yeah.
Do you feel like, and I also would love to know, Raina, James, if you have heard any other myths or misconceptions about DJing, or if you feel like there's any you would want to debunk that you hear that like give DJs a bad rap or anything like that.
I mean, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for other DJs, and if I try to, they're going to come out of the woodwork and say, hey, no, don't represent me like that. Little things like you guys putting your gear behind my setup, I enjoy that. Like, I mean, I'm not like, hey, please put it back here. But I like conversating with you guys through the night. I like when you come get your camera, like, hey, how's the day going? Everything good? Like, you know, we can have conversations. And where else are you getting to put your stuff that no kids are going to mess with it? Like, I'm kind of your guard for your bags and your gear.
Photographers do this? I always find a nice, like, quiet closet or, like, place that I can go hide if I need a minute.
No, this comes up in DJ forums all the time. They'll take a picture of the photographer's gear behind their setup and complain about it. And I'm like, it's not that big of a deal, man. It's really not.
It truly isn't that big of a deal, but I'd never even thought of it. I was like, DJ's space. I don't want to mix a DJ gear in my gear too, because that's another thing is one time I had a monopod disappear with a bunch of band's gear. So, you know, that's another reason.
That's definitely a risk for sure. I mean, we typically don't use the same type of equipment, but if you have an XLR cable and it's laying by my stuff, it might go in my bag. I don't know. It wouldn't be on
nice
purpose,
one.
But
yeah, you're like, ooh, braided.
And I think also, like, you guys getting audio from us, I always try to make it a point to come to you and say, here's my options. Mm-hmm. You can plug in here, you can plug in here. That's another thing that I see in DJ forums all the time is like, they either want to charge the videographer to plug in or like, they're not touching my speaker. Like, why? Like, that's the only way to get the cleanest, best audio. Why would you not want that for the client? They think they're going to blow their speaker or short it out. I don't know what they think.
The next best option for us would be to walk around and clip the microphone on between the speeches. That's the only other way around that situation if a DJ is doing that. But I've never had a DJ do that. But it would be like a situation that like the DJ would then create this problem, you know, by not just like allowing somebody to plug into their speaker. Now everybody has to take a pause. We have this ugly microphone that's being clipped on and stuff like that, you know.
And I will say the counter to that is, and this doesn't really impact photography at all, but videography, please have the cables you need to plug into our system.
Gosh, yes.
It's not our job to make sure your recorder can plug in to it. And I've had those expectations before where they're looking at me like, well, don't you have that cable? Like myself, I set my DJs up with toolboxes with like every cable, every adapter, first aid kit, like the whole holy shit kit is right there that can save them in any situation.
Yeah.
It's the chaos kit.
I might have even put a sewing kit in there. I put, like, there's crazy stuff in there that you never know that you're going to need, you know? Every professional, especially wedding professionals, should have that kit to save them in any situation.
Yeah.
I've had to tape my pants shut because I ripped out my pants before. Like, stuff happens, you know?
Raina, from a planning perspective, since you see all the types of vendors, do you feel like there's anything that you see as patterns with DJs that you would want to ask Jesse about for his feedback on or advice I would just be curious because we only see like the relationship that happens between photo video and a DJ, but I'm sure you see the different questions and problems and trends that come up for all different types of DJs. So I'm just curious if you have anything.
Well, from another vendor perspective, catering, DJs affect that quite a bit. That needs to be communicated across all vendors, actually, simply because the kitchen isn't always ready to come out, even though the schedule says XYZ, or you might be shifting gears because the client wants XYZ, but it's going to affect the quality of the food experience. So having those conversations with the caterer is very important. They're often forgotten in some situations. So that's a good one. I think it's from a client perspective, And I think you've proven the point very well. They're just pushing a button and hitting play. Obviously, that's not the case. So I think this has been a very good conversation for not only vendors to see how much collaboration goes on for the wedding day, but for your clients to see your DJs and your photographers are all working together with lighting and sound and schedules and timing and making your day come to fruition. That's huge. And that's why you make the investment.
It's truly a full production. I mean, look at how much work you guys put in just setting up this podcast. A wedding is that times 100. You know, there's so much that goes into it and so much technical knowledge and equipment and everything like that. One of the big points that I make in my planning meeting with couples, and I say this all the time, is the only time during the day as a DJ that I can't control is if we do a grand entrance and dinner's not ready yet. So it comes into the catering. Because if we hype everybody up, let's bring them in here, and then we get in and we're like, what do we do now?
Right.
It's a very awkward situation of dinner's not ready for 10 more minutes. Okay, let's keep cocktail hour going, but now you just raise this energy to 10, and now you just shut it all back down. So it's a huge point to me in that planning meeting to say, okay, you're going on a party bus, you're coming back. What time is dinner scheduled to be started? Okay, get back 5 minutes before that. Because if you get back 20 minutes before that, I'm gonna hold you on that party bus and not let you come in, because it's gonna get really awkward if you do.
Tell us to do something. We'll make something up. Take
Yeah,
pictures.
so I mean, the rest of the day, the whole wedding, I can flex and I can be fluid and I can make things not awkward. But if we get that energy up really high and then dinner's not ready, so yes, I'm leaning on you, or I'm going back in the kitchen and saying, hey, how are you guys doing? Are you ready? 99 times out of 100, they give us a thumbs up. We're good to go. We're ready. That's a really good point, because I have that conversation all the time of clients feel guilty during cocktail hour. Couples feel guilty that their guests are there and they're not there. And I tell them, don't rush. It's okay. I'm entertaining them.
Yep.
They're having conversations. They're seeing their friends and family they haven't seen for a long time. So they're having, how's work? How's the kids?
They're getting libated, getting charged up
Yes.
for you.
I tell them, take your time, enjoy that time, and I'll tell you when it's time to come in.
If there was like anything that you felt like could phase out of wedding days, like what would you say it could be? Like, what is one thing you think could go to the wayside as traditions change? Or
Well, luckily, a lot of traditions have shifted, but I still have questions during our planning meetings that I still ask. Let's just throw it out, garter toss. Let's never do it again.
Yeah.
Like it's awkward, it's weird. I can't remember the last time I did one, but it's still a question I ask in my meetings. Dollar dances, I will say only one in probably 20 weddings that we do still does a dollar dance. I also really like the bouquet dedications versus the bouquet tosses. I know bouquet toss it's a cool tradition. Here in the Midwest, we're very traditional. That's the problem, is in the Midwest, we still want to make grandma happy and do it the way she's used to it being done, because if we don't, she's gonna be upset. But I love that the trend we're seeing now, the couples, they'll break the mold and they don't care. They wanna do it their way.
have you had anything that ever was like really truly unique that blew your mind, that like a couple chose to do that was part of the day that you were involved in?
Client's idea. It's not something we just do, but it's something we're happy to assist with. The most memorable one I had was like 6-7 years ago, but we just did one a couple weeks ago, where the bride asked, hey, I want to make a custom deal. My dad's left me a bunch of voicemails, and when I do father-daughter dance, I want to incorporate those voicemails as a surprise into the father-daughter dance. So she sent me her song, she sent me the voicemails, and you know, we made it sound like a movie where it's the song, and then it's like, hey, it's your dad checking in, I love you, and then it goes back to the song, and just the emotion that can bring out is so powerful. I might tear up while talking about it, but the one that I'll never forget ever is the dad passed away. And the sister reached out to me. So the bride didn't even know this was going to happen. And we created a track and a song that they found a pair of his work boots that had never been, they didn't know existed. And they gifted those to her, and they had her stand on like the toes of the boots while this song played, and there's a slideshow going, and like every man in her life was giving her a rose periodically. It was just like, it was emotional. Like, you don't want people to get sad at a wedding, but it's very important for a bride to include that father figure, and that's a tradition that I really like. I'm a dad, I have a girl. So being able and being willing to provide moments like that people are never going to forget. I'll never forget. I tell people all the time, those magic things we do at your wedding, that's what I remember, and that's what your guests are going to remember. They're not going to remember what song we played while you cut the cake. They're not going to remember probably even that grand entrance you did, but they're going to remember the little different moments that you create through the day. So that's a really long answer to say custom audio tracks are something that I love putting together and doing. It's extra work. I don't charge extra for it because I know the impact that it's going to make. And I'd say we do 3 or 4 of those a year. And every time it's just super, super powerful.
Yeah,
May have just started a new trend.
You gotta, James would be an expert in, the technology and the work that goes into creating something like that, where you're doing multiple layers and making sure the levels are all correct and everything.
That's video editing, but it's the audio part, and we still do that too. We'll still cut audio to be clever and hide things.
It's worth the work. It definitely pays off in the end, for sure.
Okay, before we close out and we tell the people where to find you, do you have any more hot takes about the wedding industry, owning a business, wedding days? We always love to sort of get into even just rapid fires of just controversial opinions that you feel like you have a mic and an opportunity to say.
I can get controversial.
Give us 1 or 2.
I'm blunt. I have opinions, but I respect everybody else's opinions at the same time. I love to help my competition or small business owners that are coming up and making their way. I've made friends that way, and I've lost friends that way because they're like, you're such a jerk, you're this or that. And everything I'm doing is with tough love and saying it because they need to hear it. I've got a good friend that I've mentored for a few years who I know there's been days where he looks at me like his big brother that he absolutely hates. But he's grown his business 5 times faster than I grew mine because he hasn't had to make as many mistakes as I made through the years. In the wedding industry, if you're starting a food truck, for one, take the risk. Just go all at it. You can't half-ass anything because it won't work. So if it's something you really, really want, put every amount of energy that you have into it and do it. And you might fail, and that's okay. But you're not going to fail because you didn't try. Small business ownership is not easy, and it doesn't happen overnight. So be patient. Stay working, and get a circle of people who you really enjoy being around, and find mentors, get training. I didn't learn that for, I think, the first 10 years of my career. I didn't have my circle. I didn't get continued education. And I feel like I'm somewhat of a leader in the market here in the industry, but still, I will take every educational opportunity I have. I'll go to every meeting and seminar and class that I possibly can because I'm not above anybody, and I'm a believer that if I take my foot off the gas pedal, it's all going to go away. So I'll be everywhere, and if you're my competition and you're not trying 110%, then you're not going to beat me. But I do want you to beat me, genuinely. I want somebody to work just as hard or harder than me, but it's going to be tough to do.
Well, where can people find you? What is the best way for couples to find you on socials or anything along those lines?
Yeah, the best way is the website. Honestly, I try to put as much information on there. Our whole team, you can see pictures, video clips. It's not Jesse and his employees. I truly treat my company as a team and a family. They're equal to me. It just happens to be my company. So go on there. I love when people like Zach or they like Ryan. It's okay if you choose them over me. I'm flattered, honestly. But the website, just go on, research everything, put an inquiry through there. You can also Facebook. I'm an old guy, so I'm still big on Facebook. A lot of people are on Instagram, but I can honestly say I'm horrible with Instagram. So yeah, you can find us on Facebook, but I think website, it's chaosproductionsweddings.com.
Awesome. This has been great.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah, I learned stuff from you guys. This is super fun.
That's what a community does, though.
That's what it's all about.
That's what we're here for.
And you can, of course, find Jesse on VOWomaha.com under our VOW vendors. We have a profile for him where you can learn a little about him and be able to visit his website directly from there as well. And you can find all of us, again, Claire Caton, creative on all the socials, and we have Raina at Divine Events by Raina, and James, you are Lathrop Wedding Company.
Lathrop Wedding Co. on social.
Okay, thank you.
Dropped a few letters from company. Just for socials.
And we are VOW Omaha on all the socials and all the things, and we can't wait to keep bringing more content like this for all of you here in Omaha.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Finger guns.
I was waiting. I'm like, when are we going to do that?
It's tradition now.
And you already got it.